My name is Carson Hau. I'm the managing partner at the Golf Lab in Toronto.
My name is Johnny Collins and I'm the digital media producer for the Golf Lab.
The big thing with the Golf Lab is the Golf Lab actually has, especially coming into the Golf Lab for myself as well, we actually developed a scientific approach to both coaching and fitting. So for those that don't know what the scientific approach is, we believe in a data-driven technology to prove what we're doing, whether it's coaching or fitting. No matter what we do, we're actually quantifiably changing something. Versus, I'll say, the old guess and check type of method with both coaching and fitting.
It's evidence-based. So anytime we try new things or test things, we need to have solid data and data sets to back up performance changes.
The difference between the Golf Lab approach and I'll say your traditional coaching or fitting is that everything we do is evidence-based, right? So when we get someone to, when I'm coaching someone and I'm getting them to try to change something, we're going to try 3 different approaches, but we're going to quantify exactly whether or not it worked, right? So everything that we do at the Golf Lab, in all honesty, we say that we can make everyone better faster, because everything we do, we'll know within 3 swings whether or not what we told you to do is better or not, and whether or not it moves the needle for the metrics we're looking for, right? Because we have the technology to measure exactly what we're trying to change, right? There's no guessing involved. I think the old traditional coaching used to be, hey, let's do this, go work on it for a week, come back, tell me how it works, right? And there's a lot of wasted time in that, right? At the Golf Lab, we say, okay, try 1, 2, and 3. We're gonna quantify all 3. We're gonna see, hey, number 2 worked by far the best, do that, because that's gonna move the needle right now. Right, and so there's no wasted time in between sessions.
Yeah, and I think a lot in the golf space you hear a lot of I think, whether it's the consumer or the coach. And in the Golf Lab's approach, we kind of try and eliminate the I think to I know, and try and get our factual evidence to back up and support our decisions or our players' decisions. And from there, it gives us a better idea to improve performance, whether it be coaching or fitting, quicker than many other brands. I think the biggest thing is whether you're walking a driving range or going to a, we'll say, practice area, you hear a lot of people trying to figure out what's going on and what they're doing wrong and how to improve. You hear a lot of, as usual, I think I'm doing this or I need to do this. And I think the big role as a coach for long-term success and just better enjoyment of the game is telling them exactly what the root cause is, what issues are happening, give them a better understanding of what things cause different things so they can actually identify instead of working double the time on something that doesn't actually make them improve. So it's giving them we'll say, the root causes and root information on how they can, we'll say, fault find and fix their golf swing.
Yeah, I mean, I think with coaching, a big part with me, I think that really helps, whether you're a beginner coach or a coach that's been doing it a long time, is what I'm trying to do is help a student understand what's happening, right? When you can kind of lay the groundwork of the conditions they're trying to create and help them understand why they do the things that they do, right? When someone can understand their golf swing of what happens on their bad swings and their good swings, they can actually start to make self-corrections, because at the end of the day, all my students, I want them to be self-sufficient. I want them to be able to perform without me there. So I need them to understand what's the difference between their good swings and their bad swings, right? What causes the good stuff and the bad stuff? Is it the contact? Is it low point control? What happens? Why do they have bad low point control?
Yep.
Right? The more that they understand their own golf swing or understand the goods and the bads, the more self-sufficient they become, right? And I think a big part is no 2 golf swings are going to be the same. Right? I think it's very important that people understand that every golf swing is going to be unique for their bodies. So I don't care what they look like as long as it's functional, right? And understand what makes their swing work and understand what their normal is, and then how do we manipulate that to create the shots that we're trying to create. Yeah, so I was lucky enough that I was chosen as the Ontario PGA Teacher of the Year. So that's so I won our region. So Canada is separated into provinces. So I won my area. So now I'm nominated for the Canada Teacher of the Year. So that's for our whole country. It's been really nice just to kind of know that the things that we're doing at the Golf Lab, my peers or our peers look at us and actually respect what we're doing because we do stuff differently. Like we take the scientific approach. Everything's data driven. Like we shoot ping pong balls at people to work on hand-eye coordination. Right? We do a lot of crazy stuff that's, I'll say, untraditional in the golf teaching space and fitting space. So for our peers to recognize that that is something like different and cool and modern, like it's been really validating that like the road that we're taking, people actually respect what we do. When people see the technology, right, especially beginner golfers, a lot of beginner golfers look at technology and are scared, right? They're afraid of too much information, right? In reality, like the golf lab is for everyone. Like at the Golf Lab, we can make anyone a better player, right? We're just using technology as our vessel for information. The whole idea of the Golf Lab is that we pick out your key performance indicator, which means like we just kind of tell you what you should focus on. Like there's one or two things that you focus on. This is going to make you a better player. So we simplify the process. We just have technology to validate that what we're doing is actually making you better.
It's the ability to give the player enough information so they can understand, but not overwhelming them with what we'll say as far as club and body specific information that can kind of say scare people away. I'll say my first day at the Golf Lab it was about 4 or 5 years ago now, and we had 2017 World Long Drive Champion Justin James in for a 7-hour driver fitting. And coming from the golf space, I've been in the golf industry pretty much ever since I could start working. So I'd say that was a pretty drastic change from day one. I knew things were going to be pretty different working around the
I really enjoy traveling. I enjoy meeting other teaching professionals or club fitters around the world. I think that's been probably my most enjoying part of being part of the Golf Lab. I mean, obviously teaching and coaching is great, but I've had a lot of unique experiences just meeting different people from different parts of the world. And it's actually what I find kind of really cool is that when we get to these other parts of the world, that they all know who the Golf Lab is. And I think that's what's really cool is that we're on the other side of the world, and then we meet someone that's like, oh, like you're Golf Lab. I think that's really cool to me that they've seen a YouTube video that we did, and that they know who we are.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's been really validating. It's been awesome.
I think a big part of the technology and moving forward is going to be a lot of the research side as well. When we're starting to understand and perform research projects yearly, just to kind of evolve maybe thinking that will affect coaching and fitting moving forward. Just giving us concrete and quantitative data to provide better experiences and increase performance.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last thing we actually started to work on, and this is a piece of technology that I guess I hadn't even touched on, is our grip pressure. So we've actually started to play around with prototype grip pressure. So we've been actually looking at different ways to coach based on grip pressure. And we're right now figuring it out. We've done some research on it, and we've seen the differences between good players and, I'll say, high handicap players and low handicap players, as well as fast players and slow players. So actually, it's kind of funny, we were starting to talk about how to coach on grip pressure to help improve speed or consistency. And I think once we figure that out, that'll be something, again, that we can teach other professionals. But we want to make sure we iron out all the details before we release some of that information. MST is state of the art. I mean, I wish our golf labs looked like this. You guys have more space, bigger labs, more bays. I mean, the build stations have been amazing. MST really blown me away. I've been really impressed. I mean, Liam better not send me out here too many times. I might not come home.
Yeah, I'd say it's very cool. I think it's awesome. It's almost like a farm to table approach in we'll say in cooking, where you've got all the ingredients as well as the information back through the Golf Lab here to provide fitting, coaching, club building, and then walk out with a club is pretty impressive. So this week we're actually working on a club building certification, so that's kind of the next evolution of Golf Lab Certified. we're currently working on 2 levels, and it's going to be anything from actually repairing golf clubs to actually building sets from spec, matching sets from previous, and I mean we're diving pretty deep in level 1 and 2 on anything club building, etc.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this has just been like looking at the differences between, I'll say, North America and Asia when it comes to whether club building or just even the stuff that you guys use here. I mean, I've been on a lot of calls with Jerome and Andre about the differences of our markets and how we have to tailor the equipment for Asia versus North America. We spent a lot of time just trying to understand the Asia market and how do we alter our process to suit the market here. And it's been really interesting, like, say, on that side, just understanding that market. I know we're here shooting content for our club building certification, and it's been great spending a lot of time with all the guys here and understanding their way of how they understand the golf lab and the things that they do day to day, and just trying to put that together with the golf lab and how they marry together.
Man, it's been really impressive to see. It's a different market in North America and Asia here. It's really impressive to see the information and how they, understand a lot of the club building and club fitting specifications. It's been really impressive and kind of eye-opening to see this part of the world and see how the golf consumer consumes information as well as understands it.
Honestly, I love it here. I rated it like a 10. I'd move here.
What's the Malay word for 10?
Sepuluh.
Sepuluh.
Yeah, thank you.